Now we're in the 92nd, 93rd minute, we're still 1-0 up, and the ball goes up to Tino, and it just bounces off him. They go down and hit the crossbar. Of course, Kevin on the bench is absolutely chewing. So he stood up and he's shouting at the top of his voice, Tino, Tino, when the fucking ball, yo, comes up, yo, no more fucking flicking, yo. Get a fucking HOLDIO. And Keith Gillespie, who'd been dropped, leaned forward and went, Gaffer, say them lessons are coming on a fucking tree. Well, Keith was out of the game for another 10 weeks. Philippe was basically Belgium's answer to Chubby Brown. He was the filthiest, dirtiest man. And I'm not talking on the field. Oh my God, he was just so rude. I'll give you an example. The first time he played at home, I mean, obviously my mum and dad are big football fans, and we were in the players' lounge, and my dad had sort of, I was with my mum and dad, and my dad's gone, Steve, do us a favour, can you introduce me to Philippe Albert? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I've gone, Phil. I kind of waved him over, and I says, oh, Phil, I said, this is my mum Yvonne, this is my dad Norman. He basically blanks me dad, and he goes, Yvonne, I have heard a lot about you. And my mum's like, what? I have heard you've only had 2 lovers, the army and the navy. Basically sort of saying my mum's had 2 lovers, the army and the navy, so she's basically shagged all the army and all the navy. And I've gone, Fleet, that's my mother. And he went, she fucking loves it, Steve.
Fuck's sake.
My mum's killing herself laughing. I'm like, Phil, what are you doing?
David's come from, he's got their own training camp in Paris, you know, and it was just everything. He had his own masseur, and all of a sudden he comes with us. We were at Maiden Castle, anybody could walk in, because it was just a university. When David Ginola come from Paris Saint-Germain, he was like, what the fuck have I come to here? He was sat in chain, he just went, who is this? There's a bloke coming to play badminton. He sat next to Ginola, and Ginola's like, "What is this? Well, this is my changing room." But it's like the drinking culture at Newcastle. It's a Tuesday night, but it's a Tuesday afternoon. It starts. Yeah. And we used to go on to Quayside. Everyone. Peter Beardsley would come out with us. Peter Beardsley didn't even drink. But I remember Ginola coming out, you know, he's mixing, he looks $1 million. And I can see him looking, and the young lads, Steve Watson, Lee Clark, Robbie Elliott, Steve Howard, they're just getting smashed. You know, they've just trained, they're getting liquids back in, and Ginola's just watching these lads getting absolutely smashed. So it gets to like 6, 7 o'clock, and David's had his bottle of wine now, and he's gone, okay, we go home now. Fucking go home, man! Who did you fucking started? He's been to the club a month. Clark and Nash, Lee Clark, he goes, Bez, come and listen to this, He went, come and listen to this fucking idiot. I've gone, what? Lee Clark goes to Ginola, go on then, tell us what you just said. But Ginola just, and he's like, I just wanted to help you, you know, you should be more professional, you know, you drink too much. Dash went, yeah, but he's just had fucking 20 fags. And then Keegan used to say to him, you know, he knew he smoked, and just said, like, you know, just don't make it too obvious. But then Ginola pulled the lads sort of a few weeks into it, because that was the ritual. Ginola just went, but I just can't believe what they do. And what he meant also, yeah, they drink to that level, but they come in next day and they work their nuts off.
So basically we played Bradford, we were winning 1-0 at half time, but it was a crap performance, the crowd are getting on us, and Christian Pasidis, he struggled when he was a Newcastle player, the fans were getting on his back in particular, so we come in at half time. Mick Wadsworth was the gaffer's assistant at the time, and he's absolutely hammering Christian Pasidis, fucking slaughtering him, and hours crap that game, and Speedo was crap that game, all the senior players was just as bad, and he's launching into Pasidis. So I'm like looking around waiting for someone to say something. I'm like, you're a prick, like leave the kid alone, he's struggling, having a hard time, you only pick on him, you don't say anything to fucking Al and that, you fucking shithouse, like proper going into it, like I've lost it now. And he's like, how dare you show me some respect? And I say, like, show you respect. You show him some respect. Like, you always pick on the young lads. You always pick on Loire. You always pick on Shola. Grow some fucking balls and fucking pick on some of the senior players. Bobby's gone, shut your mouth to me. How how dare you like Bobby went, how dare you talk to my staff like that, show some respect. I've started crying, where more out of anger and frustration. I'm not playing no more, I want to go home, baby, I want to go home and see my mummy and all that. So I've literally took off my top, my boots, my shorts, said I'm not playing, and I've gone to go and get a shower. Speedo's coming in and said, look, get your boots on. And I was like, no, I'm still sniffling away. And then the gaffer comes in and says to Gary, get out. So I'm thinking, here we go. And he goes, softly spoke, and he went, I love what you did, son. So straight away my anger starts to ebb, and he went, you are totally right. I absolutely love that you protect the young players. That shows a real leader in you and that. But I can't be seen to be disrespecting Mick Wadsworth because he's my staff, so I've got to show that he's got power over you. But I totally understand. So now I'm feeling $1 million. Bobby understands. And then he was like, you've been the best player in this, even though I hadn't, well, I wasn't. He was like, you were brilliant first half, you're the best player, we need you, you're going to win this the game. Come on, get your boots back on. Obviously, put my shirt, boots back on, I end up scoring the winner.
We were going for the title, playing Villa, live on Sky. He asked me, first time ever, he'd asked me to play slightly different. They played Milosevic, Tommy Johnson and Dwight York up front. He went, well, you tuck in a little bit and help Philippe because they're going to try and get in behind. I went, you've got a problem. And he went, what do you mean? I says, well, if I'm going to be tucked in, they play with wing backs. He won't want to defend against Ginola. He'll bomb on. He'll just bomb on. He's going to be a big space. And he went, don't worry, I'm going to ask David to come back as well. And I just went, come on, Gaffer, he ain't gonna do it. I said, even if he tells you, he will not come back. He went, no, do as you're told. Game kicks off. They've got it down the left-hand side, and I've tucked in, and he pings it fucking straight over my head, and Gary Charles is in. He takes a touch, he whips it in. They have a chance. He goes out for a goal kick. And Keegan comes to the technical area, and he fucking starts shouting at me. He's going, fucking hell, Bez, fucking hell, Bet. And I've snapped, gone. I've just gone into it. I've gone, fucking hell, Bez. I fucking told you that he wouldn't fucking come back. Now I'm now going, oh fuck. And I've sort of like stopped what I'm saying. And then he's looking, and then he turns around, and I could see Robbie Elliott, who's my replacement. He's now warming up. Now you got to remember, it's only 10-12 minutes gone in game. But as I can see now, number 3 get fucking pulled out, and I've gone, fucking hell. Puts number 3 up, and I've just gone. So I'm walking past, so I shook Robbie Elliott's hand, and Keegan's just not even looking, he's looking straight past me, and I turned and I went, shit decision. So I sits down, and then that red mist starts to drop, doesn't it? And I'm like, and I just went, I'm finished. That's me finished at this club. There's no ways I'm getting away with this. And I went, Arthur. And Arthur turned around, and I went, what do I do? And he went, Arthur went to me, he went, you better hope and pray we win, son. Anyhow, we win the game 1-0. So I went to Arthur Cox again. I went, Arthur, what do I do now? He went, get in there, go and see the gaffer. If need be, beg. Right? I thought, not a problem, I can beg. I knocked on the door, and goes, come in. I walked in, he's looking at me. Didn't say anything. I went, Gaffer, I've come to apologise. I promise you, I'm out of order. Shouldn't have swore at you. I promise you it will never happen again. Would you please just fucking... And I got down on one knee. He says, look, Bez, he says, I've been a footballer, I've been, heat of the moment. He said, you said the wrong thing. He says, so I would just like to say, look, let's just move on as though nothing's happened, and let's go from there. And when you just go, no, that's brilliant. What a manager. Didn't play for fucking rest of the season. Never spoke to me.
We had a training session under Ozzy. It's called Shadow Play. He picks his 11 that's going to start on the Saturday or through the week. Your goalkeeper, a 4, 4 and a 2. And you've got a full-size pitch, you're playing against nobody, get some goals and then come back and start again. So Ozzy has set us up. We've took the kick-off, passed it back to Lee Clark. Lee Clark's passed it back to Kevin Scott. Again, we're playing backwards and we should be going forwards because we ain't playing anybody. Kevin Scott gives it to Steve Watson. Steve Watson turns round and passes it back to Tommy Wright, who's in goal. Tommy Wright was putting his gloves on in the back of the net. The ball goes in the goal. We're getting beat 1-0. We ain't playing any fucker. And we were going through a really bad time at the time, and you could just see Ozzy just rocking. With his hand, he's in his hands and he's going, fucking hell, boys, we're shit, man. We're getting beat 1-0 and we ain't playing anybody. That's how bad it was.
He says, I've agreed 650 grand with Jim Smith. He says, do you want to come and join me at Liverpool? I remember sort of getting in the car, M62. So I go into reception, and John Barnes and Ian Rush are there. And they came over and they went, John, congratulations, welcome to Liverpool. You know, you're like, fucking. So I goes off, does the medical. Graham Souness comes back in and he goes, he says, have you ever fractured your ankle? So I says, yeah, I did it at Barnsley. He went, it's not set properly. He won't sign you unless you're 100%. I'm going, no, come on, play with that. So I then had to phone Jim Smith up to tell him what was happening. I says, Gaffer, the deal's off. He went,
that must have been fucking
so
hard.
I come out, my dad's trying to console. I'm not gonna lie, I was fucking crying like a baby. I'm coming out, and just gets in the car. So we stopped at services, and I spoke to Jim, and Jim went, don't worry. So I went, what? He says, somebody else wants you. So I went, oh, he went, Kevin Keegan at Newcastle. I gets this number, rings this number, and his voice goes, hello. So I've gone, hello. He went, who is it? I went, it's John Beresford. He went, thank you, get yourself up here and come and sign for me. And I went, hang on a bit. I said, do you realise what's just happened? And he went, no, what's up? I says, I'm just coming out of Liverpool, I've failed medical. He started laughing, he said, I've just signed Paul Bracewell, you'll piss hours. So I drives up, pulls into the car park, right? Keegan and Terry Mack come running out. They usher me and my dad into the room. It's just a small room at Gosforth Park. And he went, you're not leaving here till you sign for me. And he says, tell you what, he goes, you're going to sign for me today. He says, we'll get promoted this year. Don't worry about that, we'll get promoted. We'll get into Europe next year when we're in the Premier League. And I'll get you in the England squad. And I'm thinking, he's on fucking drugs. And then I went and did medical. He went, and I remember the doc went, why, what's the problem? And Keegan's going, don't worry about him, doc, look at him, he's fit as a fiddle. Get him past. The doc's going, let me do my job, get out of here. This is where he was freakily good. Keegan goes, right, contract. And my head was, I just went, I said, look, I don't know. He says, look, he says, tell you what, wait there. He disappeared, he came back, and he'd phone Graham Souness up and match my fucking man. I was like, what a manager. And then, as I said, going back to it, we got promoted that year. Then the following year, we were in the Premiership, we come third, we got into Europe, and then I got in the England squad. And Keegan called me into his office and he went, you didn't believe me, did you?
What had happened was, Terry Mack taking a group of lads on the drink, basically just carnage. You know for a fact carnage is just going to ensue. And Keith had a couple of drinks and he was quite tipsy. At that time Keith couldn't drink, he was piss poor. And he was already chewing, in all fairness, because I think early on in the day, because it was still early afternoon, I think he'd gone to the loo and somebody hadn't held the door for him, and he was just being awkward, and he was one of these where he was just wanting to fight somebody, and Keith can't fight, he's soft as shite, to be quite honest. So we played these games, and he kept on getting them wrong. Al was hammering him, battering him, calling him worse than rotten. And anyway, Keith on one time when Al's hammered him because he's getting it wrong, he stood up and he went, listen, you fucking baldy bastard. He went, you call me one more time, me and you's going outside. And I was going, fucking sit down, you idiot, sit down. So we sat down, it must have gone round twice, and then it comes back to Keith, gets it wrong again. For some reason, I've got a champagne cork top in my hand, and I've gone fucking hell dizzy, and I've bounced it off the table, and it could have gone anywhere. But it actually bounced and hit Keith right in the eye. But quick as a flash, Shearer went, fucking hell, look at you. He says, you're the only Irishman that doesn't know where cork is. Just because it's a cork. Anyway, Keith's gone, that's it, fucking get up, come on, outside now, outside. Des says to me, he went, boy, what are you doing? Are you not going to go outside? I went, no, I'm not. I says, I'm at the embryo stage of a drinking session here. I says, I'm not going. I says, that's Alan Shearer. I said, he's a world-renowned superstar. And I says, that's that stupid bloody Irishman. I said, it's broad daylight. I said, they're not going to fight. They're not going to fight. I went, if you want to go, mate, crack on. I'm sitting here, I'm having my pint. Des goes. Literally 30 seconds later, I hear the rhino. He's hit him. He's hit him. He's only fucking hit him. So I've ran up, and Al standing over Keith, and Keith is out, and there's claret all over the floor. And I've looked at Al, I've gone, what have you done? He won't have hit him. I won't see that. I said, what? He says, what, he tried to hit us? So I've hit him. I went, look, you go, just go. I said, I'll look after Keith. I think Rob Lees took Al away. I've looked after Keith. And Rude had took us paintballing. Tamuri and a few of the other lads, they'd done like kind of army service for their country. Obviously we've got 2 teams. Everybody wanted to shoot Rude. We split up in 2 teams, and the lads is hiding and stuff like that. Anyway, my team was against Tamuri's, and we couldn't. The game was over. We couldn't find him. But he'd been an expert in camouflage, right? And he was in the fucking trees.
He's in the trees.
He was in the trees. Right, so we're just walking back. The game's over, and he's come diving out like bloody Jean-Claude Van Damme with the flips and stuff like that, and he's gone, pow, 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 pow. And he's gone, die you English pigs. And everybody's gone, tell it to him. He's gone, no, never, you know, and he's gone. And he's gone, where's Gullit? Where's Gullit? It's overtime. It's over, mate. Lost the plot.
Go to Cyprus, go Iron Napper. Killer again, he's captain, team captain, organises it, everything's organised, team's off. Anyhow, Killer, big drinker, goes on a bender, goes on an absolute bender, and he's funny, he's doing head banging and all sorts. His hair's down his back, and it's like 5, 6 o'clock. He puts his head on his hand on the table, and he just fucking passes. He's gone out, he's passed out. I get up to go. Now the trouble you've got is Barry Venison's still there, and when Venison's pissed, he's a nightmare. Anything could happen. And I heard him go, let's cut his fucking hair. But I thought, nah, bravado. They're not that stupid, right? Okay, right, I go to my room, I've crashed out. Within, I don't know, must be half an hour. My door's getting braid. It's David Kelly. He's gone, Bez, you better go down. They've only gone and done it. They've gone and done it. They've cut his hair. So I've gone down the stairs and I've gone to the bar where we were. And I'm telling you now, every table had been turned over, and I've gone, where is it? And Killer sat on a sunbed on the corner of the pool. He's like that, with his head in his hands. And what they'd done is they'd cut all his hair off, half of it, half on one side, and they put it all over a pint pot and everything. So when he woke up and come out of his drunken stupor, he saw his hair there. I've gone, Killer, and I get about 10-15 yards away from him, and I've gone, Killer, and he looks up. Oh, they fucking butchered his tash as well. I swear, I've gone, oh no. And you know when you start to smile? He went, I'll fucking kill you. He went, who's done it? He stands up, and he's 6'4". He's fit as, but he's got half a barnet and half a butchered tash. And I'm looking, going, and he's going, oh, fucking off. And he starts walking towards me, and I've started backing off. He went, Bez, who's done it? I went, don't know. So we get him to his room. This is no joke. He's going to kill whoever it is. Faz fucking comes into this room to say to Killer, right? He comes in to say, Killer, I was there but left. But as he went, I was there, Killer went, boom! I jump on the back of Killer because Killer's going for him, because he's like, I'm making no difference whatsoever. I'm just swinging on the back of him. And then Faz went, look, I was there but I left. I've just come to see what's going on. So for the next 4 days of the holiday, just blanked us all. Fenners is going, I'm going to tell him it's me, and I'm going, Fenners, you know, he'll fucking kill you. But Killer came back for pre-season. No, he felt as though he'd lost respect. He says somebody should have stopped. And he said to Keegan, you know, I want to move on. Killer fucking ran that team.
Then about 5 minutes later, he's come to show again. I've passed the ball, not give the ball away. He's like, fucking hell, you fucking never passed me the ball. Fucking pin. Fucking, I'm getting sick. So I'm like, fuck off. And he's like, what? So I've turned around and said, the reason why I don't pass you the ball is because you're fucking shit. And as soon as I said that, the eyes just like, right, it was like something just switched. He's come walking down to me, I'm facing him. He's Ed's gone. And so first thing I done is grabbed him, turned the neck to a frame. And never in a million years did I think what was going to happen next. When he's raining punches, I'm thinking, I cannot believe he is throwing punches in front of 52,000 people. What the fuck are you doing, Bo? Surely not. Like, what the fuck? And then after 3 or 4, I think, fuck this. And then I throw a haymaker and miss, and we get separated. And I didn't think you could get sent off for fighting your teammate. When the referee comes up to me and shows me a red card, I'm thinking, what the fuck? So I get sent off, and he gets sent off. So I'm waiting in the tunnel for him. So I said, oh, you think you're fucking hard now? Let's fight now. So we're like ready to go at it in the tunnel and have a proper scrap. Yeah, so then they put me on one side, they put Bo on the other side. We're in the change room. And Stephen Taylor comes out of the showers after being sent off. And he's like, oh, is the game over? And we're like, Lenny and John are like telling him we've been sent off. So he's buzzing because it softens the blow for him. And you hear the final whistle go. And one set of studs sprinting up the tunnel. So who the hell's that? And it was Boomsong. And Boomsong's like, you want to fight? You want to fight? Fight now! And Al comes in, and I've never seen Al, most angriest I've ever seen. And he was like, you fucking selfish pricks. Obviously Sooners comes in, right? He says, I'm now going outside to the media to watch the incident. If I think I know what I've seen, then I will fight the pair of you. Here we go. I've won the Geordies back, and now I'm going to be back to square one. I cannot believe what is happening to me. And then Sooners has obviously watched it come back in, and then he just rips into Bo. I'm exempt. And then Freddie comes down, so chairman of a football club. He says to me, you should have headbutted him. What he did to you, how you showed so much refrain. So then I've gone from feeling sorry for myself to feeling sorry for Bo. And now he's getting all the shit. And I'm just thinking, this can only happen to me. And then to be fair, Bo rings me up, apologises, and just says, look, it is my fault and I lost the thing, and we made up straight away.
We disliked each other from the first minute. I don't know, I just, you just get a feeling when he walked in and he sort of introduced to each other, and hi lovely boy, he used to call me, and I just thought we're not going to get on it. Within a week or two, he just sort of dismissed all the senior players. Yeah. Me, Rob, Stuart Pearce, John Barnes, Ian Rush, Warren Barton, and all those guys were just sort of put to one side. It was as if he didn't want any senior players challenging him and taking him on. It was a difficult situation because I knew that he wanted me out of the football club, and I didn't want to leave. I would have had to have left if he had stayed. He sort of gambled. He put all his eggs into one basket, didn't he, and sort of left me out of the biggest game of the season, Sunderland. So to walk into the dressing room at 6:30 and see your name on the board and you're not playing, that's how myself and Big Dunk found out we were left out. The result, 2-1, finished the game, obviously angry, got home, watched Match of the Day, and then of course it was mine and Duncan's fault for that we'd been beaten according to Rude on TV. So I thought that was it, the final nail, if you like, to say, well, I've got to do something about it here. So I went in bright and early, got the kids up an hour early than they should have been to school, dropped them off at 7:45, which is unheard of. The doors weren't even open. I left them out in the love you. There you go. I've got to get to the training ground, kids, I'm sorry, I've got to leave you here, and go racing down the motorway in the car and pull into the training ground, and luckily I see his car's in there, so I go bursting into the office, and I look and their Big Dunk's already beat me to it. He started there tearing strips off the wall beforehand. So
I wasn't in the youth team, I was subbing that, and he would never play us. I mean, my diet wasn't great. I used to buy Pattermints, bottled Coke and fish and chips at night. Jack Chon became manager, and he pulled us aside, and he went, yeah, you're a good player. I says, yeah, I am. He says, how long you got in your contract? So I was cocky, and I went, 2 years. He went, you got 2 weeks, you fat bastard. And he says, right, you're getting picked up at 6 o'clock at night. And I went, what for? He says, you're going to be training with Brendan Foster, who's a runner, and he used to train the athletes. And within a month, I was captain of the youth team, captain of the reserves, and then we played in the Youth Cup final. I scored 2, won 4-0 against Watford away. And then he come in the dressing room, and he pulled us aside, he says, right then, you come with me tomorrow. I said, what for? He says, you're going to be playing against Ipswich. I panicked. I says, no, I want to go back and celebrate with the lads. And so he says, okay, then I'll play your next game. I remember sitting on the bench with him. It was so funny. And he was sitting there, and Jack was brilliant of us. And he was sitting there, and he went, the fans started singing, Charlton out, Charlton out. And he looked at us, and he had a little cigarette in his hand. And he went, do you think I need this, Gaz? I went, not really. He went, see you, good luck with your career and fucked off. That was him. He gone, and I remember going to the dressing room half time, and the players went, where's Jack Charlton? And when he's left, they went, no, he isn't. I went, he's went home, he's had enough, he's quitting. And then the next day, he was collecting his stuff from the office, and he opened the window, and he went, Gaz, come up. So I went upstairs, and he pulled 120 quid out of his pocket. I went, oh, that's good. And he gave us it, and he went, cheers. So I ran downstairs, I was so excited, 120 quid. And then he opened the window, he went, £10 each for all the players. And I went, oh shit, okay then. I kept it, I think.
I'd gone out on a Friday night. I said, look, let's go for a bite to eat. The girls can have a dance, we can have a catch up. And that was the plan. Like all good plans, the girls want to stay out longer. We started having a few drinks. I mean, it's a Friday night before a game. I mean, come on, I shouldn't be doing this, let's be honest. Then I hear, fucking hell, Mike Ashley's in the building. I think, oh no, fucking that's all I need. And then I see Mike, Derek Lumbias and their crew of friends, and I don't know who they had with them, making a beeline to me, and I thought, oh, I'm in a bit of trouble here now, this ain't going to look good. So before he's got to me, I go, how are you, Mike? I said, I'm just shooting off, just had a bit of dinner with the family. I mean, it's about fucking 12:30 now. 1 o'clock, he's kicking right on. He said, no, you stay here, shots, let's get some shots. I'm thinking, fuck me, shots? So, anyway, we have some shots, and he's like, there's some more shots. I'm thinking, fucking hell, like, what? I've got guys, and he says, yeah, you've done a great job, yeah, I fucking love you. He said, I'm going to give you an 8-year contract tomorrow. Mate, it was as if the music had stopped in the club. It was as if everyone had become sober. I'd gone from being really drunk and my wife dancing over there to my wife coming straight to me. Did he say 8 years? I'm going to everyone in the vicinity. Did he say 8 years? Can we rewind that? We go home. My missus all around, she's gone to that. Did he say 8 years? I said, I think so. I literally turn up at the stadium, walk in the party's office. She said, all right, mate, have a good night. Now, it's the sort of question your manager mate sort of asked. I sort of went, yeah, interesting. Like, I think he knows, and I know that he knows, but how do we go about it? Might come out of something. I said, but he said, no. He said, you got to go up and sign an 8-year contract after the game. Now, I won't lie to you, I'm buzzing. So he said to me, what are you going to do? And I'm thinking to myself, what answer does he want here? Because I know what I want to do. I want to go and buy a fucking Bic and sign it. So he said, look, you can't sign that contract. If I sign that contract, what's John Stoney? He's the manager of the club. I've got a longer contract than the manager. It was crazy, really. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I quite have a longer contract than the manager. And John and Stoney, I've got a look, they're going to think, what a shithouse. You know, and it is a bit shithousery. But 8 years is 8 years. I go up after, I'll see Lee Charlie, and I'll just see Mike, and I say, look, I'm really appreciative, but it's not right that I sign a contract. As much as I want to sign it, I love it here, I'm quite happy, I'll give it all that spiel. Well, I'll give you all 8-year contracts. Now I'm thinking, buzzing. So this went on now, and it went quiet a little bit. But so me, John and Stoney are non-stop thinking, any news this 8-year contract? we can't really say anything, right? We can't really fucking ask Dad, because he's going to hit the fucking roof of us, like, because that's all we've been talking about now for about 6 weeks. I can't remember where we were passing. Look, just let you know, I've agreed with contracts with Mike. What sort of contract, bud? Yeah, it's fucking 8 years, yeah. I've got us fucking tied up for 8 years, but
one of his other jobs was at the start of a new season. He used to go around the lads, have you changed your mobile number, have you moved house? And if you ever speak to Terry, he's got a bit of a lisp. It's like short tongue. And when he was going around for the addresses and stuff like that, my address was 66 Skiview, Silksworth, Sunderland, SR3 4PW. The lad was like, boy, when Terry Mack comes to you, we've got to be there. He was like, right, Clevo, you got your address? And I went, he was going, 66 Skiview, Silksworth, hey, fucking hell, Clevo, you idiot, I'm putting this on my fucking list. But he was just... He actually thought I was making it up. It was actually the right address. It was the proper address. Went to this pub called The Star. Anyway, we're having a couple of beers and stuff like that. And then we've just gone, listen, we're going back to the hotel. We're just having a couple of drinks back to the hotel. So a few people came back. For about another 3 or 4 hours, me, Al and Derek, we've gone to bed. And then the following day, we've gone into training. And we're getting the vibe that the manager is not happy at all. Apparently, our hotel that we were at, there was no locks on the door, so people have just gone into different rooms and basically trash rooms and stuff like that. We didn't know. We've gone to bed. So anyway, after training, Kevin goes, listen, I want to see RUs, and Al goes in first. So I think he's going to be in there for a while. So I get changed. Bear in mind, it's how Christmas do. Al's got in his training kick, so I get changed. Now I'm in fancy dress. So I'm in an emu costume, but there's this metal bit so you can move the neck and stuff like that. So I've got changed into that. The gaffer and Al are laughing and carrying on, and I'm thinking, that's not too bad. So he's come out and he's looked at me and he went, what the fucking hell have you got on? And he went, get in. So I've got in and I've sat down. And I'm thinking, I don't want to put it in between my legs, so I'll just hold it. Right? So I'm holding the head. And I've just moved the head to the one side so I can see him. Right? And he's battering me, absolutely battering me. We've left the hotel rooms in the right state, and I've gone, oh, look, we haven't done anything. And he was caning me. I didn't know, but apparently what I've done is I've turned the head of the emu and put its head down as though it's like getting a bollocking. And he went, put that fucking emu's head down. He went, where's Derek Wright? Where's Derek Wright? And he opened the door and he went, Derek, are you coming in here or what? And I've gone, oh shit, he's going to flip here. He's going to flip. I've got an emu costume on, and Derek Wright's going to turn up in this. Derek opens the door. He's got a pink leotard top on, a tutu dress, pink tights, and Dr. Martens. Derek's a big bloke. And he opens the door and Kevin goes, I am fucking speechless. I am speechless, Derek. Sit down. And he's going, you're a disgrace, you're this, you're that, you're other. And I'm thinking, please, can we not see the funny side of this? And Kevin's looked and he's just looked and he went, I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. He went, I've got a current England international wearing a fucking emu costume, and I've got one of the best physios in the country wearing a fucking tutu. Fucking get out! So the bus is always parked on the grounds of Castle Eden, and it's surrounded again, hundreds and hundreds of people surround the bus. Tino just thought it was a good idea for the lads for entertainment to stick one of his videos on, because the week before he put some music on and it was this Latino Colombian stuff, and Shearer went down the bus when we were driving down the A19, ejected it and turned around and went, Aspria, shit. He'd opened up the latch and winged it down the A19. So Tino just thought, well, I'll spice it up a little bit. So he brought this video, so he puts it on. We're all set, we're waiting for Terry Mack and the gaffer. The camera is like focused on these high heel shoes, and the camera kind of pans out, and then you see these long leg stockings, and it's all this like silk underwear and silk like kind of a dressing gown. And we're like looking at each other and thinking, no, surely not. I mean, we've identified straight away, we're thinking surely not. And then you just hear a knock on the door, and she walks across marble floors, walks across high heel shoes on, stockings, all the gear, opens the door, and there's a geezer standing there, and literally before you know it, these two are getting right into it, and she is screaming the place down. The bloke is absolutely battering her. We've also got to picture the fact that we've got hundreds and hundreds of people around the bus, and they can see the TVs. So this woman is screaming the place down because this bloke is going for a hell for leather, and you can see the husbands, the boyfriends, the wives, the girlfriends, the kids. The husbands are trying to move the wives and kids out the way while trying to look, thinking, what on earth are Newcastle players looking pre-match before they go down? And it's a full-on porn movie. So Kevin and Terry Mack comes up and all he can hear is this woman screaming. And he's going, what's this? Get this off. It's on like 4 tellies. And everybody's like thinking, bloody hell, what they're watching. This woman screaming. Anyway, Kevin's just about to eject it. Tino comes running down the bus. No, you must keep this on. This is my new missy. It was his new girlfriend, and that was his way of introducing the lads to his new girlfriend.
When Sir Bobby was coming to the end and he was struggling, we arranged to do an England-Germany team. Because it was at St James's Park, they asked myself, Rob Lee, some of the Newcastle players to sort of be part of the England team. So you got Mateus playing and all this, and it's like, so Chris Waddle's back. So everybody's got together, but GAZZA's desperate to play, but he's not in great shape and everything else. So Peter Beasley says, I'm going to try and get him fit and everything else. So they're kind of babysitting him, trying to get him right. GAZZA's in such a state, he's getting upset and everything else. Okay, on the Friday night, before the game, GAZZA's ringing Sir Bobby up and talking. So Bobby passed away literally 3 days after. GAZZA's on the phone at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't feel well, Gaffer, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you down, I just don't feel right and everything else. And Sir Bobby's like telling us the story at the game going, It's all right, Paul, I'm not feeling too good myself. And then you got Gazza going, oh, fucking forgot.
So anyway, we're playing Blackburn at home, and we're 1-0 down at half time, and Kevin's come in and he's fuming. But he's talking to Tino in Spanish, and Kevin's lost it, but in Spanish, so we ain't got a clue what he's saying. Anyway, he's hammering Tino, and Tino all of a sudden starts taking his kid off. And we're thinking, wow, that's strange. He now walks between Kevin and Terry Mack, got no gear on, got a towel, and his goat starts running the bath. And Kevin's still trying to talk to us, and Kevin's fuming. Wow. And basically, he's looking at us and he's trying to talk to us, but you can hear Tino running the bath, singing, whistling, honestly. And as a player, we are absolutely wetting ourselves, thinking, wow, this is so funny. But like, Kevin's trying to keep a straight face, and every now and then he would look along the corridor thinking, all sorts. So anyway, we go and play the game. We end up winning 2-1. Rob Lee, obviously thinking he was clever, said to me, and I was the captain at the time, he said, Pedro, have a word with KK. He said, tell him well done, great idea to take Tino off, but why? You know. So anyway, me thinking I'm clever, I said to the gaffer, in front of everybody, I said, Gaffer, Rob Lee wants to know. I said, obviously, good idea to take Tino off, but what happened? He said, I told him obviously in Spanish, you got 2 minutes to get your finger out, otherwise you're coming off. He said, I don't know how you get rid of this, but he said, Tino said, fuck you, I'm coming off now.
It was strange because my agent was dealing with it. He said, right, Newcastle want to speak to us. There was a few clubs, so I was like, well, let's go and speak to him. And I kind of just had itchy feet. I was thinking, you know what, I don't really want to sign. This is Newcastle. It was honestly, it was insane. It was like turning up to like one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Walking up to St James's Park in the middle of Newcastle was like, wow. Like, I got a little bit nervous, you know, and I hadn't even signed, and I was like, I don't really want to do it. So went out to Jesmond, an Italian place in Jesmond, and Alan Shearer's walked in. He's come up to me and he's like, oh, like, have you spoke to the club? And I'm thinking, wow, he knows who I am. He's like, right, you make sure you get back and sign the contract. So I'm like, yeah, of course, I'm going to sign now. Shearer dealt with a bill, which was ridiculous. He was like, can we have the bill? And he was like, oh, it's already been squared. And he just literally put his arm up and was like, that's it, squared, bill's done. So went back, and I was still like, I'm going to say no. I'd say it was about 7 o'clock in the evening. My agent had just had a message, and he showed me, it was Arsene Wenger, and it was like, don't sign, come and talk to me. Bobby Robson swings the door open. First time I met him, we sat there, must have been till 1 in the morning. He knew everything about me. He knew, he'd come and watch me against Grimsby Town, away from home. It was one of my worst games, and he knew everything I'd done in that game. He was telling me every touch, and I was like, he'd come all the way to Grimsby to watch me, like, this is insane. And like, at the end of it, I'd signed the contract. He's walked in, my agent's sitting there, and he's gone, I don't like you. And I'm like, wow. And he's like, not you personally, I just don't like agents. Got his chair, sat in front of him, just spoke to me and my parents, like, for 4 or 5 hours, and I'd signed the contract after.
He signed this player for like 12 million quid, and I'm like, I'll show you. And I went to smash him in training, he nutmegged me. So it was just like clash after clash, and he was tough, Laurent. I remember once, you know, just thundered into a tackle. He's got up before me, give me a little elbow side of the temple. Brad jumped up, ran, laid one on him, and it's not knocked him over. So then you know you're in the shit. I can't run. Kind of felt as if I wanted to run. And I'm like, I'm in trouble here. I was like, what do I do? So I kind of panicked, hit him, not even flinched. And then I just remember then getting rugby tackled, and Gary Speed was on top of me. I'm like, okay, I'm alright, Speed, you can get off me now. You know, but it was funny, like when we got on the coach, the Ron's there with a nice back. But he was a good lad, like you said. He was tough, very good player. He's on the nutmeg.
And when I come out the dressing room, and I'm walking down the tunnel, and I just see this guy with muscles, Jesus Christ, and the veins in his neck and his skinhead. Oh, that's got to be him. So I went over to him, and I just went, hi, Vinny. And he went, mean, you fat bastard. I went, oh, fuck me, 90 minutes of this. He followed us everywhere. There's a game on, and I felt a bit more like confident in that, and I went, I fucking didn't bother with this guy. And I managed to put the ball through his legs once through. He started backing up on us, so I sort of gave him a push, and that's when he squeezed me balls. I really squeezed him too hard, and I was like, honestly, I thought I'd lost my family allowance. I got in the dressing room, and some girls setting some roses. And I went, that's it, I'll give him the thing. So I went in and I said, can you get that to the Vinnie Jones, please, from me? I went back to the dressing room and then the guy come back, a young kid. He went, that's from Vinnie. He said, he's back to toilet brush. Shit's go fuck off.
Some of the stories, I lived with him, didn't I, for a few years. Fucking round the bend, nuts. Horrible creature. So he comes in the flat one day and he's asleep on the couch. Goes into the fridge and there's a fucking turd that long just on the top shelf in the fridge. And I'm like, are you fucking real? We've got to live here. This is our fridge. Fucking big log about that long on the top shelf. And when he weren't asleep, he's just like that, laughing his head off. I went, there's something fucking not right with you, mate. Sort that out, you know what I mean? Literally shit on your own doorstep. You shit in our fridge. And then he was just laughing his head. I thought it was hilarious. Come in another day. I've come in and my toothbrush and all that's gone, and there's a fucking big stand-up log about that big in me toothbrush glass. What's wrong with what's the matter with you, mate? Just literally big log like that stood up. No, he's one of them proper cavemen, you know, like he probably hasn't even washed his hands. He's had a sarnie afterwards.
We played against Man United at St James's, and before the game Bobby Robson said, right lads, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Come on, said Jonathan, you man-to-man Van Nistelrooy, so wherever Van Nistelrooy goes, you mark him. Got beat fucking, was it 5-2, scored actually. And we had a massive big fucking inquest the next day. Massive, Bobby Robson gone mental, and Bella's went, fucking, it's your fault, Gaffer. Said, you told Jonathan to man fucking Van Nistelrooy. So Bobby Robson went, I tell you what though, son, fucking Van Nistelrooy didn't score, did he? So I just went, but he fucking scored 3.